Hey cousins, what's going on? This is Phil with A Lady and a Gent. As you can see, it's late night. I'm finishing up the edit on this video where we do an in-depth review of the movie Cuties. Now, it has come under fire for sexualization of young girls, but this is an honest review about the movie itself and not the images that it portrays. So please keep an open mind, number one. Number two, we on A Lady and a Gent do not condone or do we give positive outlook on pedophilia and sexualization of young kids. We ourselves, we're parents, and we would not want anything to happen to our children as well as children of the viewers that watch this channel. So please make sure you talk to your children. Make sure you teach them what to do in regards to stranger danger. Once again, we do not condone pedophilia of any kind. Also, this is, like I said earlier, an in-depth review of this movie, so it'll be broken down into two parts. Today, we're showing part one, and part two will air the following day. So please watch with an open mind. Feel free to comment whatever you choose and whatever you like. And get ready to enjoy the video.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, cousin.
Hello, what's going on? Welcome back to A Lady and a Gent.
Ew. I'm your cousin Ashley.
And I'm your cousin Phil.
How are you guys? How are you, cousin Phil?
You know, I'm doing great. I'm great.
That's good. Me too.
You know, we're here, we're talking with them.
It's always a good time.
Always.
Always a good time.
Always. But we got a good one for you. You know, y'all may not like us after this, but we got a good one for you. But before we get into it, let's get to this cousin of the day.
Ooh, who is it?
This goes out to Texas Gigi.
Hey, Texas Gigi.
Now, she commented on one of our most popular videos, but you know, we still gotta show love anyway.
We do.
And it reads, "Hey cousins, I commend Christy for learning how to do her sweet little girl's hair. No easy feat. I commend y'all for being kind and giving that mama the benefit of the doubt and staying open-minded about her hair tutorial. Y'all are kind and funny. I want to come to the cookout too. Love and peace."
You know what? Maybe after 2020, we can plan a cookout, a cousin gathering.
Everybody's invited.
Well, we need an RSVP list first, cause you know we gotta make sure we got enough food.
Okay, everybody's invited if you reserve.
All right, so today, as you can tell from the title, we are going to talk about Cuties, the movie on Netflix.
Da da da.
Now, I must say, I had no intention on watching this movie.
Honestly, I didn't either.
I saw it. I saw people talking about it. I remember the original poster, which is, we'll put it up for you guys. And I was like, no, I'm good. I just seen the poster. I was like, what in the imitation bring it is this, right? I didn't that just was my first thought. I didn't read anything about it. I just saw that and I was like, I'll just pass. I'm not really into dance stuff, so I didn't really think nothing of it.
Well, I unfortunately, the comments came through, you know, when I was just browsing social media like I normally do. And there were, you know, the cancel Netflix and,
What?
oh, this movie is bad. It portrays this and this and this. And I'm the type of person, let me find out for myself.
Okay.
You know, you can't just go based on those particular comments and the 5-second clip that they show, because that doesn't show everything in its entire context.
Right, and I didn't see the clip, I didn't see the promo. I just saw the poster, and so we were talking, and he was like, yo, I'm watching Cuties. I think we should talk about it. So of course now I have to watch it, right? Because I'm like, okay, I can't just be up here like, I don't know.
See, finally somebody listens to me.
You know, I try. So you watched it before I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were just like, no, you gotta watch this. And you're going through and you're like bringing out little points. And I'm like, okay, what in the what? Let me watch this.
Now, I can say the first time around when I watched it, yes, I was going on pure emotion, because when you read comments first and you hear the negative comments, and then that's in your mind, and then you
Right.
watch it and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna see it, you know, from a neutral side. So, and then I had to think about it, and I was like,
So did you watch it more than once? Or
well, I watched it once.
and then you reevaluate at the end after you was watching it. So I guess for me, right, if you thought I was gonna bash this movie, I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. So
No.
before we even get any further into this review, I'm not bashing this movie. Now I just read the comments on social media after I've already seen the movie, and I was just reading them and reading them and reading them, and I feel like nobody really watched the movie. Like 1 or 2 people from some of the comments I saw seem to have read it, but because they came into it with this mindset that this movie sexualizes young children, that's all their comments were based off of. And in actuality, that's the world. Everyone is sexual. Me as a woman, I'm constantly being sexualized. Even if I don't want to be, I'm constantly being sexualized.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I feel that this movie puts out there where maybe some people don't want to acknowledge that it starts at a very young age. I mean, look at these pageants, right? We start with these pageants, these little girls out here, and full faces of makeup and these outfits and all of these things. So it starts, unfortunately, very young.
Even though we don't want to admit it, you know, even as, you know, young boys growing up,
Yeah.
you know, you see things on TV, you know, because internet was not
Wasn't
readily
popping.
available when I was
Yeah.
that age. So,
Yeah.
you know, you see music videos and that's in your mindset.
Right.
And then you seeing, you know, you go to school, you see little girls on the playground. What you see on TV, you try to emulate it into the world. That's every child.
That's just children. That's how children learn, right? We're constantly mimicking. That's how babies learn, right? The reason we learn to speak the languages we speak, we're just mimicking it. And so it's the same type of idea that, unfortunately, if you want to see the bad or good in society, look at children. Because all they're going to do is emulate what they see.
Yes.
The issue is they don't have the reasoning yet. They haven't quite developed that to differentiate, okay, this isn't appropriate. They don't know. They're just like, I'm having fun. Like, I see everybody else doing it. They look really happy doing it. So why can't I do it?
Exactly.
So since we're at that point with it, let's get into, well, actually, first of all, as adults, we need to stop sexualizing.
We really do.
Because we're putting something off that might not necessarily been the objective. I don't know. I'm not
True.
the director of this movie. But if the first thing we see are these children dressed a certain way and we're like, oh, they're sexualizing, what does that say about us?
Now, I did watch a video clip of the director speaking of the movie.
No.
And what she was saying was it was a coming of age story
That's what I got from
that young girls go through, and you're at this fork in the road in a sense. You know,
Right.
continue with your traditional culture and upbringing, or fall into the trend of internet culture.
And that was the thing, right? There's so many layers. So we're just purely reviewing the movie. We just kind of recapped what we've seen on social media about it. But the first thing I got was, okay, so this is an immigrant family that's just relocated. So they're a Senegalese family that's moved to a housing development, housing projects, let's call it what they said in the movie, in Paris. So already there's two different things, right? We have an immigrant family moving to not only a new city, but a new country,
Right.
where you may or may not speak the language, or you might as the child speak the language and your parents don't. So already you have that, right? You have to deal with that.
Right.
So then you have now the cultural differences, because I mean, as somebody who moved from one part of a state to another part of the state, it was completely different. Like, it was just a shock to move from a big city to a smaller city in the same state. We're not talking about just moving from north to south or south to north. Completely different. So imagine moving not only from a different city, but we're talking a whole different country.
And that's something you experience moving from one side of town to the other.
That's what I'm saying. So
anytime you have to change location,
yeah,
you know, there's different cultures, even though it could be the same city,
right.
But there's different cultures for each area.
Right. And so now you have this cultural aspect. So now, I think for me, the major theme of this movie was actually acceptance. I got some notes, y'all. I really think that was a major thing for me, acceptance. And you could see it not only within the kids, but within the parents. So within Ami and her mom, right? Her mom trying to accept moving, and then her husband adding a new wife to their family. So, or being accepted by the others in the community, because her auntie was always like, no, you have to do this and that. She's like, whoa. So that's what I got from that.
I mean, what I mainly got from it too is it's like with any child, you know, she was going off to do laundry and she sees something and it sparked an interest. Just like with anything, like let's say for instance, young me going outside and all of a sudden you see someone playing football or anything like that, and it sparks something in you, like, what is that and how can I do it? So then you start to emulate it as best as you can.
Right, because when she was doing her hair on the ironing board, I was like,
I hollered at
her. And then when she went home to do it, but her hair got caught in her curls got fried on the iron, I died, because we've all been there when we just want to fit in, right? She just wants to fit in. Not only do you look different, right? You have an accent. It's all these things. So I just want to fit in. Like, we've all been where we want to fit in. And so that was just funny to me. I just was like, I remember these moments myself as a kid. Like,
I hope you didn't put your hair.
No, I didn't do that.
Okay.
I didn't do that. No. My mom did my hair. She kept it right, so I didn't.
Cool.
I didn't have no struggles with trying to do my hair, but I get it. And I also, like, one of my best friends is from Africa, and so it's funny watching this movie because me and her talk about certain things that were going on in this movie, just like, these cultural things. So watching this movie, I just have a different, I guess, mindset about it, because I have friends who are immigrants, and just experiencing or listening and remembering their stories. Like, it's just, I connected with that part of the movie. For me, I was like, okay, this is definitely, I grew up in a city very culturally diverse, so I totally see these things. I remember these things happening. You had the popular girl, or the girl that everybody kind of wanted to be like in, each grade level. So if they're 11, I'm sure, who was her name in the movie? I can't remember her name. Annabelle? Annabelle? Jessica? Child, something like that. Y'all know the name of the girl. The one with the real long hair who was ironing it. Ami was trying to be like Jessica because she realized, she was the it girl. She was the girl in charge of the girls. Yeah, if y'all know where that comes from.
Are you in charge of the girl? I am in charge of the girl.
It's just, watching this movie just reminded me, like I said, of my own youth. And as a now woman, I once was that age. And I just thought of all these things. And even, first of all, when they were wearing the crop tops, now I don't know who these teachers were that was just letting them wear these clothes and not calling their house, because they would have called my house. Once again, this movie is made in France, so I'm not sure of.
Yeah, we got stricter dress codes in school.
Right, I'm not sure of the dress code. Like, it's so. I think, with that also being said, you know, we don't know the laws in France, even with the movie being made. But somebody would have called my mom. But the funny thing is, I don't know about guys, but we've all done it. Like, I grew up in a quite conservative household, and so certain things I just wasn't allowed to wear. But we've all, a lot of us, maybe not some of y'all, but a lot of me and my friends used to come to school and change your clothes. Like, you would leave the house one way and wear something else, or you would bring something and your friend would bring something and you would swap clothes and you change in the bathroom. Like, we've all done it. That's nothing new. Cause I went on this field trip and I had this white jean skirt, little mini skirt. Now mind you, I'm 11 like these girls, 11, 12. I look like a whole stick. And I wanted to wear this skirt so bad. So I put the skirt in the bag, changed on the trip. Now, the problem was, we went to the woods. We went to like this camp. And it was raining. So wearing a white jean mini skirt was not the move. Like, it was just not the move.
Yeah.
I didn't really think it through, but once again, most of us ladies, most of us have been there, whether you did it in middle school or high school, you did it. Now, I was in middle school, so I was like 12, 13 when I did that. I would call my best friend and she would tell you the story, because hilarious. And I'm out there in this white jean skirt, and then I realized, let me put back on the sweats that I came here. Like, I had on a hoodie. I'll never forget it. And then when I think about it, it really didn't match, but I didn't care. I just wanted to look what I thought was cute, right? I wasn't trying to be grown, or this concept of them dressing grown, being grown. We've all been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, now to look at the conservative side, which, you know, I had to think in mind, because after a while I had to take a neutral standpoint, but I see what they're talking about on the conservative side with today's issues with the hashtag Save Our Children. I get that.
But let's not act like this is a new concept, right?
No, it's not.
Funny
It's not.
Because before we started this video, I had called my friend, and even the dances that the girl was doing, so we're gonna speed through it, right? Once they want her on the team and she's watching the video. She's in the mosque, praying. Now, we won't talk about that, but I've been there, so I understand. And she got her hijab, and she's like, listen, I'm not about to be a part of this. She's like, I'm gonna just watch this video, right? And once again, we're emulating. And so when she was doing that dance, I was like, that's the crybaby. And literally, then my friend, I said, she was like, girl, when I saw, I was like, that's the crybaby. I did the crybaby. I was probably a little younger, but nobody sexualized me and was like, oh, you're being grown. Like, that was the dance. I also grew up around the Caribbean culture, so some things are a little cultural in a sense that maybe some people don't understand, and not even, like, once again, a sexualization. If, like, black culture, Caribbean culture, African culture, we move differently, and our dance moves is just, that's just cultural things, right? We have specific dances that we do, and first of all, they looked horrible dancing. Like, let's just be honest. This wasn't even, I mean, if we go off the dancing, like, they should have hired, like, dancers, because these dances was just bad. Like, and I think that was the purpose. It was awkward. It was uncomfortable. It was like, girl, what you? Somebody in my family like, please stop, because you about to make me look bad. Like, I'm just, you know, we had these dance competitions in the household. Like, come on. Now, I'm not saying this right, but I used to get out there and be like, come on, because, you know, we got Soul Train lines and.
Yeah, I even remember little girls, you know, when I was younger, you know, outside cheering and creating cheers and doing things like that. So
yeah, or the step
that's
team.
been going on. Yeah,
stepping was a huge thing. Like, when I was in middle school, high school, it was a big thing. So once again, maybe our perspective is a little different. I just thought it was kind of, it just reminded me of, yeah, like when your mom be like, girl, go somewhere. Like, that's not for you. That's not for you, baby. really that what do a lot of these girls what in this particular video, because now I've seen, once again, I was this age and I've seen these girls for their age were actually quite their age, in a sense where a lot of us now, a lot of these kids look very overly developed, and I think that's another conversation. But they just looked really awkward. It just, I don't know. I just once again thought about myself. I'm 11. I probably look real lanky like that, and if I was dancing like that, it just looked really awkward. So for one, they just should stop. They should have had a big sister, a cousin, been like, "Oh, y'all look terrible." They probably needed me in their life as a cousin, like maybe me being 14, telling them as 11 years, please stop. Please stop.
Yeah, that'd have really been an interesting movie.
But then it was funny how the other girls was picking on me and saying like she didn't have no body. None of y'all do. I'm confused. Like, what are y'all 11? Nobody does. So then she's watching the other women and she's looking at them and she's like, wait, what? And once again, I've been there. I was really skinny as a little girl. So, you know, growing up, once again, these things start young, and this is what we need to realize. People will pick on you because you were skinny, and that's just because you all don't know. The boys are learning. You're like, well, if I'm looking at this video and she look like this, but these girls I see don't look like. So you start just picking on each other. That's what kids do. And I'm like, why y'all picking on her that she don't got no shade from y'all? None of y'all do, except for the one that was a little bigger. Like, I'm confused.
Now, some of the conversations that the girls were having, I've heard these conversations when I was working in the school system.
Listen.
And I was just like, okay. I mean, it wasn't one of those, oh, I'm gonna write you up for saying this. You know, I would try to guide them as best as I could because I acted as a mentor to those students. So I tried to guide them as best as they could. Like, you know, that shouldn't be the basis of your, you know, you growing up or having a relationship with somebody of the opposite sex, or even in this culture, the same sex.
Well, the problem is that, once again, I think the older we get, we forget that we were that age. And so as we work with youth, and even me having a teenager, you hear certain conversations, or even if you just listen to them talk, I mean, the kids around me aren't talking that sexually, but I'm not saying that they're not. I don't put it past them.
True.
Because we were that age and we used to have these conversations. Like, let's not act like we weren't out here being grown, talking about stuff that we just should not have been discussing. But it just goes to show you, and I think the intent was to be like, listen, it's just a reminder that, remember, you were this age and these are the conversations you were having. So maybe you need to have conversations with your own kids, because unfortunately, if you don't give the kids the information, they're looking for it. And unlike us, right, from us in this age range, that we didn't have, the internet wasn't as prevalent, right? It was probably just starting up. You know, I was like 14, 15, not 14, 15, but somewhere between middle school age. And we had internet at my house. I begged my mom to get a computer, she got one. And so my friends would come over and we'd be on the internet, and when it was on the webcam with the dude, I just started dying laughing, because I was like, bruh, I remember, like, I wasn't on the webcam, but when chat rooms before Facebook and chat rooms was the thing, right? I know y'all remember chat rooms.
Yes.
Like, whether you talk about Pokemon, whatever it was, chat rooms was like the first stages of like social media, where you could just, before I guess DMing, right? That's what a chat room was. And you just go in there, somebody would send you a private chat and you just be talking. Let's not pretend like we all wasn't pretending that we was older than what we were. And not to say the conversations didn't go, but we've done it. I've done it, and it's just hilarious to watch it. Now, I wasn't out here like I said, on the webcam, because no, but it was just funny. It was hilarious. You'd be like, oh, hey, oh, okay. You don't know anything. You just think you think you know more than what you are, or more than what you know at that age. Because, you know, can't nobody tell a teenager anything. Come on. Come on. Who could tell you something when you were a teenager? Nobody.
We knew it all back then.
And so for me, this movie just represented really coming of age, in a sense that we've all been there. when they were washing her mouth out with soap because she like.
Oh my god.
I mean, now I seen in the comments they thought she picked it up and was playing with the condom, or I mean, come on, how many of us have? Whether you found them in your parents' drawer, your auntie, uncle, older brother, young sister, we've all found them. We've all tried to play with them because we're not gonna pretend. This is a grown channel, right? And you know these things, and you think every kid has done it because it looks like a balloon to you, and you're just like, I'm gonna blow it up, and then your parents go, oh my god, what are you doing? like come on. Like, either you did it or somebody you knew did it. It was just
somebody do it.
Funny, but when they were watching her mouth, I was like, oh, you could get AIDS. It just leads me to, once again, we as adults and parents or caregivers have to have these conversations. Because if not, the kids are gonna get it from somewhere.